is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love each other whether we want to or not. Well, maybe it's time for President Obama to get off the stage and go into retirement like other presidents have done. When presidents leave office, especially after 8 years, 8 respectable and successful years by many people's estimation, they ride off into the sunset to their ranch or their village or their estate or their compound, wherever they intend to spend their retirement. They move off the stage, away from politics, and go on and live a private life. And you don't see any more from them unless something big is happening in Washington, a president dies, a long-standing senator dies, or something like that. You don't hear anything from them because they've had their time on the stage and it's time to get off. But President and Michelle Obama will not go away. They are constantly talking, making statements. President Obama is still dipping into politics. So now it looks like they've got a character assassination hit out on him. And why would there be a character assassination hit out on our beloved President Obama? Well, I'll tell you why. There are a couple of scandals going on now with our former president and with our present president's son. Both of these are very ugly scandals that make America look bad. So they've got to do something to switch the focus and distract the public's attention away from the fact that one of our former presidents has been indicted and the present president's son might be indicted. So we've got to do something. And we go to the old reliables. Let's dig up some dirt on a black person and change the narrative. And President Obama is an easy target because when he came into the White House, he was an advocate for LGBTQ rights. He repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He signed the LGBTQ hate crime bill. He also ensured hospital visitation for LGBTQ patients, partners. He did several other things. And when he signed that hate crime bill, I believe that's when they lit up the White House. He had that thing lit up in purple. I know we all remember that. No president had ever done that before. He was an advocate for the LGBTQ community. And I don't know if that was the deal that he made with the devil, among others, to become president, but that has dogged him from the very beginning. President Obama and Michelle have been married for, 30 years or so? I don't know. And they have 2 lovely daughters. But his detractors have always been determined to link him to the LGBTQ community personally. President Obama was an advocate for LGBTQ rights, and that may have been one of the conditions that certain groups would support him in becoming president. But the Republicans grabbed hold of that, and not only did they accuse him of being in the LGBTQ community, but they also accused Michelle of being transgender. The way the Republicans used those slanderous allegations against them had to be hurtful, and they overlooked a lot of things. But as far as Michelle, the things that they said about her had to be hurtful, and they never let up. They kept it going for as long as President Obama was in the office. The only problem was they could never prove anything. It was always allegations. He's in the LGBTQ community. She's in the LGBTQ community. These people have a real problem. They are really homophobic. So every time they wrote something about him, they made it seem like they had some kind of a smoking gun, or they had receipts where he was a member of a particular kind of club in Chicago. And then when they went to check the club out, The people at the club said President Obama had never been a member of that club, but they did name some Republicans that were members of that club. So they left that alone. But they kept trying to get something on him, trying to get somebody to admit he was that way, and they couldn't do it. And so then we got Donald Trump. We heard nothing about LGBTQ. And even with Joe Biden, we don't hear anything about that. You don't see the White House lit up. Or if it has been lit up in purple, please let me know, because I haven't heard about it. But when President Obama was there, that was a part of his agenda, it is said. And possibly it is true, because he was all over there in Africa advocating for that. He and the president of Kenya had some words about it. And the president of Kenya, and it was President Kenyatta at the time, told President Obama, you run your country the way you want to run yours, and we'll run ours the way we want to run ours. But President Obama was advocating for that. But after he left office, we didn't hear much about it. Remember? We haven't been hearing that much about it from the White House. Maybe from other areas, but not from the White House. And definitely not when Donald Trump was in the White House. And now with Joe Biden, who's 80 years old, who has a son that is potentially in trouble with the law, he's not going to go down that road of advocating for a very controversial issue like LGBTQ rights. Yes, basic rights, but he's not going to push the agenda. And you know, they like to have someone to push the agenda. So, what do? There's nobody in the political crowd right now that's trying to get elected that seems willing to be the front man for the LGBTQ agenda. This is what's trending. Obama's love letters from 1982 resurface. I make love to men daily, but in the imagination. Now, when you see that, and the purpose of something like this is to give you an impression and for you to draw a conclusion before you know what this is really all about. The article says, Barack Obama once wrote that he made love to men every day in the imagination, in a love letter to his ex-girlfriend that has surfaced more than 40 years later. So this is a letter that he wrote to a girlfriend 40 years ago, and now it has come back to bite him in the behind. The former U.S. president wrote of his androgynous mind in a letter to his then girlfriend, Alex McNear, which has since resurfaced in the New York Post. In the correspondence, Obama wrote, in regard to homosexuality, I must say that I believe this is an attempt to remove oneself from the present, a refusal perhaps to perpetuate the endless farce of earthly life. You see, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination. My mind is androgynous to a great extent, and I hope to make it more so until I can think in terms of people, not women as opposed to men, he added. But in returning to the body, I see that I have been made a man, and physically in life, I choose to accept that contingency. Before I give my interpretation of this letter, I want to read a little bit more of the letter. The letter was written in November 1982 when a 21-year-old Obama and McNear were students at Occidental College in Los Angeles. She later redacted excerpts of the letter, which is currently held by Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. So that is key to what is being shared in this letter. Redacted means she has removed important parts of the letter. So we're not getting the full body of this letter. And if we're to believe that President Obama is LGBTQ, we need the whole letter. We need all of the letter, even the parts that she took out, because we don't know what was taken out and what was left in and how they pieced it together to build this smear campaign against President Obama. If he were in that community and he wanted to share that, that would be one thing. But I don't go for this business about people outing other people. It goes on. Contents of the letter gained renewed attention earlier this month when biographer David Garrow claimed that the 44th U.S. president repeatedly fantasizes about making love to men. Garrow, a Pulitzer Prize-winning historian, was the author of the 2017 biography Rising Star: The Making of Barack Obama. Now, I would challenge the statement, the 44th U.S. president repeatedly fantasizes about making love to men. Those are his words. I don't know if this biography that he did of President Obama was authorized or if he just decided to write a biography of him. But I think it's very irresponsible for a person to write a statement of fact about another person, especially one so intimate. In an interview with Tablet published on 2nd August, Garrow explained how he obtained letters from 3 of Obama's former girlfriends as he was writing about the politician's early career. The biographer suggested that McNear wanted to have her role known when she offered the 40-year-old letter to Garrow. When Alex showed me the letters from Barack, she redacted one paragraph in one of them and just said, "It's about homosexuality," Garrow told the magazine. Now, we're supposed to believe that this woman from 40 years ago held on to this letter from him, not knowing he was going to be president one day, and she wanted her role known. What role did she want known? She's one of 3 women that he dated and dumped. She wants the world to know that she had a hand in smearing his character. The saying is true, hell has no fury like a woman scorned. After McNear sold the letters to Emory University, Garrow asked college professor Harvey Clare to transcribe the love letters by hand. I emailed Harvey, said, "Go to the Emory archives." He spent his whole life at Emory, but they won't let him take pictures, Garrow explained. So Harvey has to sit there with a pencil and copy out the graph where Barack writes to Alex about how he repeatedly fantasizes about making love to men. Now, he hasn't seen this. This letter is in Emory University's library. This man has not laid eyes on this letter, yet he is writing about it like he knows exactly what's in it, and he knows for a fact that this is a letter that President Obama wrote to this woman. He has not seen this letter. His friend went to the library, took a picture of the letter, and wrote down what it said. Now, does anybody really believe? Is this believable? This is not believable to me. This is not how information is disseminated about a person that's been the president of the United States. This is crappy journalism. This paragraph says that the former president cooperated in the writing of the book. I don't believe that for 1 minute. As he was interviewed by Garrow for 8 hours over the course of 3 days, he has not yet commented publicly about the contents of the resurfaced letter. When Rising Star was published in 2017, and that was the biography that this man wrote about President Obama, the biography also revealed that Obama had proposed to another woman before he met his current wife, Michelle Obama. Speaking to Garrow, Obama's ex-girlfriend, Sheila Miyoshi Yeager, told the author, "In the winter of '86, when we visited my parents, he asked me to marry him." So for somebody that's supposed to be interested in men, he has a number of girlfriends. Obama and Yeager began dating after they were introduced by mutual friends. The former Illinois senator proposed in 1986 when he was 25 and Yeager was 23. While she rejected his proposal, the ex-couple stayed friends until Obama's political aspirations caused a strain on their relationship. Well, gee, I wonder why. If he asked her to marry him and she turned him down, and then later on he decided he wanted to get into politics, what was the problem? What was the strain? You'd already turned the man down. See, some of these folk don't sound like they're telling the truth. He became so very ambitious very suddenly, Yeager told Garrow. I remember very clearly when this transformation happened, and I remember very specifically that by 1987, about a year into our relationship, he already had his sights on becoming president. I thought she said that he turned her. I thought she said she turned him down in 1986. So okay, so folks just be lying and they think everybody believe what they say. In the book, Garrow also wrote that Obama allegedly attempted to end his relationship with Yeager. Now, this is the woman I already said she turned him down when he asked her to marry him. Now he's attempting to end his relationship with Yeager, who is of Japanese and Dutch ancestry, because of race. The author claimed that Obama believed marrying his then girlfriend would hurt his credibility as an African American politician. That's true. Writing that he had a calling to be president and a heightened awareness that to pursue it, he had to fully identify as African American. He was right about that. According to Garrow, Obama and Yeager continued to see each other during his first year of law school, around the same time that he met Michelle Obama nee Robinson while working at a Chicago law firm. Well, I don't understand why you would continue to see a man if he asked you to marry him, you turned him down. What are you still seeing him for? What do you think he was going to do? The soon-to-be president and first lady were married on 3rd October 1992. They welcomed their first child, Malia Ann Obama, in July 1998, and their second daughter, Natasha Sasha Obama, in July 2001. The Independent has contacted representatives for Barack Obama for comment. I hope President Obama does not dignify this garbage. This is nothing but garbage. Now, this is the author of President Obama's biography. This is David Garrow. He also did a hit piece on Dr. Martin Luther King. He's obsessed with black men's sexuality. I don't know what his sexual preference is. I couldn't find any information about a wife or children, but he does seem to be interested in tearing down the legacy of prominent black men. Professionals and historians criticize the work that he's done on both Dr. Martin Luther King and President Obama. His work is biased, and he focuses more on trivial things than on the accomplishments of these black men. So I believe that this is garbage. I believe they're trying to tarnish President Obama's image because he really came out with a clean image. Now, a lot of black people, including myself, don't think he did anything for black people. And I honestly do not know what his sexual preference is. But I do not believe that this is a fair assessment of him based on what a woman scorned had to say. The woman that he proposed to that supposedly turned him down didn't say anything about him being interested in that way. And this is that woman, by the way. This is the woman that he was supposed to be engaged to or trying to get engaged to. I've heard that story a couple of times, but now I don't even believe it. Because when you turn somebody down, you don't keep dating them. You move on. And both of you need to move on. I believe that this is an effort to tarnish President Obama's image and to link him to the LGBTQ community because that puts them back in the spotlight. I do not know what he likes or who he likes, but this doesn't seem right to me. And maybe there's a reason why presidents leave town when their tenure is over, because the knives are always sharpened as long as you're in the limelight. So maybe they need to step away from the limelight, get off the stage, because there are those who are never going to get over the fact that a black man was the president of the United States. They're not going to get over it, and they're going to do everything they can to drag him down. They don't care how long it takes. But you may think differently, so let me know what you think. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.